We earn money, save money and buy things. Living beyond the economic cycle is impossible. What trends are dictated by world markets and how does it affect consumers? Watch it in People and Economy. In this program you will know what SMM-manager is, how selfie helps to earn money and how much earns the world's largest online shop. Online business is a trend of the 21st century. Nowadays, e-commerce is one of the most dynamic areas of economy which continues to develop even in times of crisis. According to experts, each 30 seconds, the sum of purchases made in the virtual world reaches $300 million, and the amount of transactions concluded in social networks makes up $28,000. E-commerce in our country is intensively developing. Perhaps the key factor is that more and more people become internet users. They understand that in the internet they can not only watch video materials in YouTube or communicate with other people in social networks, but also purchase things. Often it is much cheaper and the product choice is greater than in offline shops. When selecting goods or services, about 80% of potential buyers rely on other people's opinion in the internet, especially on comments and advertisements in social networks. This trend gave rise to such a business segment as social media marketing.
Social
media marketing implies the promotion of goods, companies, brands and services in social media platforms. Currently, the number of social networking services is increasing from year to year. Internet is expanding throughout the whole Kazakhstan. As a result, many companies use social networks to promote their goods and demonstrate their advantages in order to be well known, because currently their target audience is concentrated mainly in the internet. Earlier, in most cases, businessmen and shopkeepers promoted their goods and services themselves, but nowadays specialized SMM companies are being opened throughout the country. Sayat Uvazhanov is one of the first founders of such a company in Kazakhstan. But before launching this project in his native country, Sayat and his friend made an attempt to conquer the e-commerce market in the UK. At that time, my business partner and close friend Vadim Lu was studying in London. As a rule, many students in the UK start their business while they are studying, and Vadim did the same. Sometime later, I joined him. So we created a business model where the core resources of its developers situated in Kazakhstan. We put together a team. We developed products here and sold them there. As a result, we gained a very good experience. One day we decided to translate this experience to the local market and in 2008 opened our first office. As in the case with many IT startups, we began to work in a basement. At the beginning, we shared one table and within almost 10 years, we changed many offices. Currently, our staff consists of 40 people.
в котором трудится 40 человек.
Yana Svirina has been working in Sayat's company for several years and she knows very well what a SMM specialist is. So what are the duties of a professional SMM manager? This is not only writing of advertising articles and their publishing in social networks, but a detailed market analysis, developing a market strategy and studying competitors' behavior. Moreover, we have to follow certain rules in order to create a high-quality and saleable content, Yana says. Firstly, it is necessary to take into account the specific character of the target audience, and secondly, of the social network where we carry out an advertising campaign. We should draw a distinction between contents and activities at our website because each social network has different instruments and audience. Then we shall have to sum up all these factors, including the target audience, the time of its activity peak and its interests. Basing on all these things, we shall create a content which would be of interest for this audience. Then we shall get a response and engagement of the audience that we need so much. A well-chosen hosting affects the number of views, likes and customer win-back. According to Yana, not all the social networking websites are suitable for one and the same content. Therefore, acquisition of the maximum number of customers will require differentiation of all the articles in accordance with target audience of a certain social network. For example, Facebook is more attractive for adult and successful people who like reading large articles. At the same time, users of VKontakte are reluctant to read such articles. Visual materials are more suitable for Instagram users. Thus, Instagram is rather an entertainment network. Its users only watch and enjoy some pictures and views. Text published at this website should be adopted for such an audience. Therefore, content differentiation is always appreciated. According to specialists, a well-thought-out digital promotion can increase companies' revenue by 30%. Therefore, since recently, social media marketing has become an integral part of business advertising. Nowadays, entrepreneurs make extensive use of selfies as a part of their advertising campaigns. For instance, they propose to take a photo with any kind of goods, a clothing brand, beverage or watches, to anyone who wishes it. Authors of the most unique photographs are offered gifts or discounts. As a result, a certain brand is mentioned many times. Such campaigns increase the number of customers and visitors several times. Another way of customer capture is the creation of an entertaining website with an understandable interface. Sayat and his team also took this business stream into account. Because of that, along with SMM promotion, he also specializes in website developing and consulting services. First of all, we act as IT advisors. For comparison, at the very beginning we used to get a technical task, analyzed it and made a decision. After that, we developed that project and sold it to the customer. But nowadays, we mainly focus on consulting services. Jointly with our customers, we study their goals along with the specific features of the market, then propose them decisions and start to develop their projects. For instance, if we deal with automation systems, we profoundly study the specifics of business processes and the ways of optimizing of certain aspects. The e-commerce market in Kazakhstan is estimated at almost $1 billion. Experts predict that within 2 years, this sector will increase 3 times. According to the Internet Association of Kazakhstan, shops account for 55% of the e-commerce market. They are followed by electronic payments with 22%. 5% are media and news websites. The rest 18% are advertisements, announcements and coupon services. Services for sales of tickets to various events are intensively developing in Kazakhstan along with the principal players of the e-market. Experts estimate that only over the last year tickets on sport events sold online reached almost 60%. The availability of numerous services had a positive effect on market players' revenues and number of viewers. Many theaters were very thankful to us because internet sales considerably changed the entry list. Finally, young people started visiting theaters. The number of viewers is growing. For comparison, earlier before visiting a theater, you had to ask permission to leave your workplace and go to buy a ticket. Then in the evening you had to go to the theater again. But nowadays, you do not need to do all these things. Instead of that, you can buy a ticket in the internet and it will be immediately delivered to your mobile phone. So you may go to the theater without printing it. In the theater, your ticket will be scanned and after that you may enter the hall. You already know your places and this is very convenient. Until recently, online sales of medicines and cosmetics were not so high. However, currently more than 7% of drugs in Kazakhstan are sold in internet shops. Experts are positive about this trend and assure that only within a couple of years, $1 of $10 spent on drugs or cosmetics will accrue to online retail sales. Internet pharmacies have become the latest trend. Indeed, buying medicines online is more convenient because you can compare prices in different pharmacies. Special mobile applications for pharmacies facilitate this task. By means of such applications, you can compare prices of the drug which you see, for example, on the shelf of a pharmacy. In most cases, you find the same medicine at a lower price. Then you just press the buy button and indicate your address. If you need it urgently, the drug will be delivered to your home within 1 hour. This is very convenient and cost-efficient. Therefore, many people use these services. Consumers are not the only people who benefit from online retail sales. This sector is of interest to businessmen and small-scale entrepreneurs. For reference, earlier internet shops were opened for advertising of offline supermarkets. But nowadays, more and more entrepreneurs start their business from social networks and websites. Presently, we should not think that setting up a website is expensive. We should ask for specialist help. There are off-the-shelf solutions and site designers. Today's internet has become easier and more convenient. Because of that, many people use it. Earlier, the internet was not commercialized because people thought that everything related to it was expensive. But by now, things have changed. Currently, about 500 companies in Kazakhstan are engaged in online commerce. Most of them are registered as private entrepreneurs. Others are limited liability companies. However, only several years ago, the major part of online shops and enterprises had no official documents. The main reason for such legalization is internet advertising. In fact, more and more advertising customers prefer to publish information about their companies or products on official websites which provide them with guarantees and invoices. According to experts, the principal e-commerce players in Kazakhstan are online clothing and footwear shops with a revenue of $135 million. Airline companies with $120 million rank second. Appliance and electronic shops with an income almost $75 million are on the third place. Time saving and comfort are the main advantages of internet shops. However, the major drawbacks of online transactions is that many people of Kazakhstan think that they can face problems while exchanging or returning of goods. However, experts assure that that is not so. If ordered goods are not yet received, the customer has every right to relinquish them at any time and within 1 week after delivery. Defective products can be returned before the expiry of their guarantee. Activity of online shops is regulated by the Consumer Protection Law, and the requirements to electronic organizations are the same as to traditional institutions. In addition, e-commerce is regulated by the Law on Payments and Payment Systems of the National Bank and by some paragraphs of the Law on Informatization of the Ministry of Information and Communications. In other words, e-commerce is currently regulated by 2 to 3 ministries. There is nothing bad in that. This is the way of how e-commerce is regulated throughout the world. The US and European countries are the world leaders in number of companies engaged in e-commerce. Annually, the Europeans buy goods to the amount of 260 billion euros by means of one click. About 80% of residents of Luxembourg, Finland, Germany, Denmark and Sweden are e-shop customers. The most saleable are sports goods and clothing. Electronic goods are recognized as leaders of online sales at the world market. Among them are electronic books, music, films, video games, software and mobile applications. People all over the world spend on these products more than $40 billion annually. A certain number of the world's largest online shops are functioning in Asia. E-commerce in this region is annually increasing by 70%. A Chinese internet giant consisting of more than 3 global e-shops takes the first place. Last year, 400 million people became customers of this online retailer. People in China annually spend almost $2 billion on e-purchases. Experts calculated that almost 1/3 of this amount is spent on clothes and another part on various gadgets. Notably that the latest have contributed to the changing of customers' habits. Currently, more than 700 million residents of this country have access to the internet and 80% have a smartphone or tablet computer.
китайское правительство на каком-то этапе оно...
The government of China one day came to a decision that the development of e-commerce would be an advantage. After that, a proper campaign was carried out. The ordinary people of China were encouraged by means of billboards and television to buy and sell things online. People were told that such transactions were safe and convenient. So the Chinese believed these words, and now the Chinese e-market is heading the list of the largest e-markets.
Он на первом месте.
Amazon.com is the world-known internet shop. It was founded in 1994 by American Jeff Bezos. Initially, its users could sell only books and later video production, later MP3 recordings, software, video games, electronics, clothing, furniture, food products and toys also became available at the website. Nowadays, Amazon is the world leader of e-commerce. Its annual revenue nears $25 billion.